Mhm. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Troy, Scott. My lovely bride, Miss Lisa, is on. Good morning, guys. My audio okay? Somebody let me know. Audio should be all right. Somebody's giving me a mean face again. Gosh, what am I doing wrong here, folks? Just so you know, these are the comments I see. I see that Troy's joined us, Scott has joined us, Miss Lisa's joined us, Aaron has joined us. That's all I see right now, guys. And good morning to everyone. Audio is good. All right, we got a lot of stuff to cover this morning, so I'm gonna jump right into it. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Rich. This is my office here. This is American Warrior Society East here in beautiful East Tennessee. I will be your host this morning, but I'm also the co-host of the American Warrior Show, America's #1 self-defense podcast. And we have a website called American Warrior Society. If you haven't checked it out, AmericanWarriorSociety.com, please go check it out. Hey, like and share. I appreciate everybody jumping on this morning with me. I've got some thumbs up that my volume is good. I appreciate that. Please feel free to comment in the section. I'll take breaks if you're joining us for the first time ever. We got a lot of stuff to cover, and I'm glad that you're here this morning. If you're a coin member, let me know your coin number. My coin number is 002. Me and Mike had to fight over who was going to be #1, and he's bigger and faster and can shoot better than me, so he gets to be #1. So your old pal Rich Brown is coin number 2. If you're a coin member, let me know what you are and where you're from this morning. I'd really like to know that. The coffee I'm having, I'm drinking it out of one of our American Warrior Society latte mugs. You can pick one of these up on our website, AmericanWarriorSociety.com. Click up in the upper right-hand box, says store. It says, do you even dry fire, bro? And I don't know if you can see that. But you need to be dry firing. If you're carrying a concealed handgun, I hope you're out there dry firing every single day. At least get you to about 10 reps in. All right, let's see who's on this morning before we kick it. Mr. Cody Hudson, good morning, sir. Awesome to have you on. Kevin Park, good morning, sir. Alan Kelly's joined us. Kevin Park, coin number 1334. You've been around for a while because we're about to crack 2,000. And we'll probably have to have some sort of giveaway on who gets that. The coffee I'm drinking is Nespresso. I mentioned I'm drinking it out of my latte mug here. We also have tumblers. And speaking of tumblers, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Last week, we had a giveaway. We hit 49 live viewers at one point. If we hit 50, this is the Generation 1, Gen 1 American Warrior Society tumbler. These aren't even for sale anymore. I happened to find some, about 7 of them, brand new, still in the box. And this morning, if we hit 50 live viewers, I'll do a randomized drawing with a computer wheel, and we'll ship that out to you. So let's get into it. Like we do every single week, I'm going to talk to you about an article that I think you need to read. And this one is a really, really good one. All of our articles are great, but this one I really like. This article is from the gentleman that wrote it. He wrote it under the name Nick Thompson. Nick Thompson is not his name. He wrote under an alias because he is currently a London police officer with a specialized unit. I think he's running around in plain clothes right now, catching bad guys in London. But he wrote an article, United Kingdom Everyday Carry, and they have a lot of things to consider. If you remember about 3 weeks ago, I showed you what I carry when I'm in the United Kingdom, and we'll be going back there, and Ireland in a couple months. So it's really on my mind. So I asked Nick if he would mind writing us an article about what he carries when he's off duty, and he did. And I'm going to share with you a few things because I think they're pretty cool. He said the number one thing he carries with him is his skills, training, and experience. And I'm going to read this right out of the article because I thought it was so spot on. So he's got a list of gadgets that he carries, and I'll tell you some of them. But the number one thing that he says he carries is this. On the subject of fighting and self-protection, the most important things I'm carrying aren't objects, but skills, training, and experience. Wherever I go, I'm carrying every round I've ever sparred. Every time I've picked up a kettlebell, run an interval, stepped on the mats, bitten down on a gum shield, and just gotten on with it, even when I didn't want to. This doesn't just apply to combatives. It's every bit of first aid training I've had, every bit of experience with customers at work, every bit of knowledge I've picked up. This all makes up the software we run on, and no amount of kit will make up for a lack of skill or awareness or simply being able to talk to people. These are the things we carry with us in even the most restrictive environments. How about that? Can I get an amen? So I really like that. I think he's absolutely correct. You know, I can hand you a list of gadgets, but if you don't know how to use them, they're worthless. And I saw a meme recently. I'll share this with you. Matter of fact, I'll post it on at least our Instagram account, American Warrior Society Instagram. And it was a picture of a man in a suit standing on a jumbled up pile of ladders trying to see over this wall. And the caption said something like, if you don't know how to use them, no amount of resources will help you. And I'm like, he's absolutely right. And I think that was Nick's point. But Nick does carry some cool gadgets with him in addition to his training. One of the things he carries with him is a challenge coin. And this is pretty cool. The challenge coin says memento mori, and it's Latin for remember that you will die and that everything is fleeting. And it's not to be morbid, folks. He says he carries it because it's a reminder to live life to its fullest, to prepare and train every single day, because you never know when it could all come crashing down. Some of the other things he carries is chewing gum. And you might say, well, chewing gum, that's kind of silly. Why even mention that? Because it's a great icebreaker if you're trying to strike up a conversation with someone, a suspect or whatever. I know that when I was a police officer, a lot of guys would carry cigarettes, even though they didn't smoke, and it was a way to get a suspect to talk to you and relax. Latex gloves for bloodborne pathogens and a variety of other reasons. You can figure that out. Carries 2 phones. He talks about why. A regular ballpoint pen and a honeybee. And if you're wondering what a honeybee is, you're going to have to read the article. Now, I've said this before. All articles are free. They don't cost you anything at all. All you got to do is go on AmericanWarriorSociety.com, click on just the articles membership, or heck, click into the memberships. Click into the articles. You'll get a drop-down menu of all the different flavors of articles we have. When you click on one, it's going to ask you, you want to become a member? You just want to read the articles, and you select just the articles. So before I get into the podcast, and I got a really cool set of guests this morning, let's see who's on here. Cody Hudson, number 1,420. Aaron Edwards, my goodness, sir, you've been around for a while. Coin number 378 from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Wendy Ayler. I told you, one of these days I'm going to tell you about how me and Wendy got married back in the 70s. That's an interesting story because you're saying, Rich, as youthful as you look, there's no way you got married in the 70s. And yet it is true. I did. Scott Pigg said he shared the Precision Holsters page as well. Love the advice. Scott, I really appreciate that. And take a moment to share this in some other group that you're a part of, or share it on your timeline. Some of the stuff we talk about in our Friday mornings together are pretty cool. And this one is going to be some things that you can carry on an airplane in case things go sideways. You got some improvised weapons with you. Jeff said, amen. Amen. Good morning, Rich. Doug Lightfoot says, our software will always be will always trump hardware. He is absolutely right. Doug Roach, Steve Sullivan, man, good to see you, sir. Me and Steve go way back. Matt, morning. Jacko, welcome from South Africa, my man. Miles, coin number 1,550. Sean is on. Steve, hey, Richie. Now, see, that shows you people that really know me. When they call me Richie, that's an old friend right there. Joining from India. Well, my goodness, Steve. You're getting around, my brother. Wendy says, I'm getting to be a Friday morning habit at the Knoxville Police Department. Hey, man, that's awesome. Doug Lightfoot, coin number 78. My gosh, you people are getting old. Okay, let's talk about podcast. Podcast number 187. Let's see, Wednesday, Mike and I just taped podcast number 200, folks. 200. Been around now, I think, doing podcasts for probably at least 5 years. Podcast number 200 is coming up this weekend. Let me tell you about podcast number 187. Who wins, who loses, and why? And this is an interview with John Hearn, and you will not want to miss it. He's going to talk to you about when it comes to these critical incidents, gunfights, etc., who wins, who loses, and why. So you will definitely want to go back into the archives and check that out. And again, it's real simple, folks. I've had to do this with several people. All you got to do, get on your iPhone, show you how easy it is. Some people are like, yeah, where do I find you guys? If you got an iPhone, scroll here, you got a little purple thing of your podcast. Go down in the lower right-hand corner, type in the search American Warrior Show. There'll be a thing, do you want to subscribe? Hit subscribe, and you're off to the races. You can go back and listen to 4 years of all the content we put out there and all the amazing folks that we brought onto the show. And it's not easy wrangling guests, as some of you can imagine. It is sometimes can be quite challenging. So we're up to 16 live viewers right now. Thank you for the 16 that are here. If we hit 50, I got a tumbler for somebody, so make sure that you like and share, because guess what, folks? It's time to talk about the gadget. And what we're going to talk about this morning is, if you remember from last week, we talked about the Fast Strike. And the Fast Strike was that whip. Remember, it wasn't a baton. And I guess it could be an impact weapon, but it's a whip. This morning, we're going to talk about, this is one of my hardening packs that I carry with me. Pretty slim, doesn't take up a whole lot of room. It rides in my get home bag, go bag, whatever the heck you want to call it, bag. And a little thing about go bags, I've been thinking a lot about this. As a young Marine, when I would go out in the Ville, I went to the Philippines when I was probably, 19 years old, young guy, and I bought a cheap little backpack because when I'd go out in town, I'd always need certain things, and it's a long jeepney ride, cab ride, trike ride back up to the upper MEF camp, so it was always a pain in the rear end, so I would always want to carry some things out in town with me. And then as I went through Europe and the Middle East and Africa, I would carry the same backpack, and it's long since bit the dust. But so the concept of having a go bag is something that, for me, it's been around forever. And as a police officer, I had a bag that was strapped to my seat in my patrol car, and I had additional capabilities in there. The bag I carry today in my F-150 truck is no different. And one of the things I carry in there is this little guy right here. I'll show you what's in here. Not much. I've got some cable, as you can see, so that I can secure stuff, and a lock. And really, that's all that's in there. But it gives me the ability to secure those. If I'm in a commercial building with the two push open doors or the two handle doors, I can loop this around there and lock it down. If I'm in a room that has one of those springs at the top, a big springs that does like this in order for the door to open, I can secure that with this. So again, like I said, I'm getting into hardening. We've been places with our luggage and had to leave our luggage with somebody. We can secure all the pieces of luggage with this guy right here. and it makes it a little bit harder for someone to get unless they got bolt cutters, and then they're going to get you stuff. But the other interesting thing about having this lock is, and this morning I told you we weren't going to talk about hardening. We were going to talk about how to have an improvised weapons. And this becomes really important because I've had a few things confiscated by TSA. The last one I had confiscated was a really cool pen that I didn't think looked tactical at all. It was just a black pen, but it was really well made. And it looked like you could strike somebody, and they freaked out and took it away from me, which is fine. Do your job, guys. Those guys have a tough job, and I respect the heck out of TSA. I'm going to be traveling next week in an airplane with my lovely bride. We're going up to Rhode Island. So next Friday morning, I'll be probably in a different environment. If I got good Wi-Fi, we'll do Friday Coffee with Rich. So right here, and I learned this from a buddy of mine who is a retired FBI agent who I want out on the podcast, but this makes a really neat improvised sap. And guess what, folks? There's nothing against carrying a bandana and a lock on a plane. You tie your knot in here, and now you've got an improvised sap that you can use in any configuration you want. And as my wife will tell you, we stayed in a sketchy hotel room in Rome a few months ago, Rome, Italy. So they took all my stuff away. I didn't feel like the door was locking good, that some weird dude that had the key. I mean, it was not any place I would want to go back to. So there's some ways that we hardened the hotel room, and then I slept with this next to my bed because I can carry this anywhere I go. And it looks pretty innocuous until you put it together. So there's one improvised sap for you. You can do locks and socks. You want to carry a pair of socks with you. You can drop this down in the sock, and you got an improvised sap. Locks in the bandana. Now here's the thing about locks. Locks can sometimes be too tactical. I carry another lock with me because I like to secure my stuff. I don't know if you saw that scene in Full Metal Jacket where Private Pyle, I think it is, gets in trouble because he's got an unlocked foot locker. True story, folks. That kind of stuff happens. So you make sure you secure your stuff. So this is another lock I carry. I'm going to the gym, wherever I'm going, I can thread this through, lock it. If I'm carrying my rifle, I need to secure my rifle to something. I think this is where I probably first started using. If I want to secure the firearm and I'm somewhere away from home, I don't have the ability to put it in the safe, this is not a bad option. It has a secondary feature, which I'm happy to show to you. Now, again, I've got another improvised sap that I can strike with. But the problem with this guy is it's black and scary. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is absolutely ridiculous what's going on right now with calling assault weapons. There's no such thing. I'm sorry. There's no such thing. But this looks like an assault lock because it's black and scary. Because when I was a cop, we couldn't wear hatch gloves with the Kevlar reinforcing in it to keep us from getting stuck with needles because they were black. If we found white or orange, we could wear them because they thought the black gloves were scaring people. So I went in and I found that Glock, and we're up to 22. Thanks for joining us. I found that Glock comes with one of these. So I own a few Glocks, as you might imagine, and I had one of these laying around. So now this is my new carry because it's orange and it's not scary. But it will definitely cause some hang compliance to occur. And again, make sure if you're going to carry these, carry the keys. It actually looks like you're really going to use it for its intended purpose, and that's a lock. Now, what's the likelihood of you having to use this on somebody in a non-permissive environment? I hope zero. But because it serves so many other functions, just like my little hardening kit, and I'm happy to carry it with me in the very rare, unlikely event that I have to use it as something that wasn't necessarily intended to, at least I have that capability. And before I go into some other improvised saps, let's see who's on here this morning. Gerald is joining us. Boy, it is early where you are, sir, out there in the West Coast. Number 952, Jocko out in South Africa says, I carry a bag every day, packed according to the day's needs with few essentials. Absolutely spot on. Robert's joining us from Kentucky. Good morning. Okay, so we talked about some improvised SAPs. One of the reasons why I don't like impact weapons, if you watched last week's Coffee with Rich, if not, please feel free to go back in there. They're all saved for you. Is we talked about the Rodney King incident and how striking somebody with a SAP always looks bad. It's always going to leave bruisings and marks and things of this nature. The other thing that I've always not really liked striking stuff is I can't use my hands the way that I'm trained and with grappling and stuff like that, judo, jujitsu, aki jujitsu, all these things I've taken. I need my hands to do what I know to do. Instead of now I got my right hand clogged up with this guy. But if you're in an environment where they're taking everything away and having one of those means that you have an additional capability, I don't think it can hurt at all. Let's talk about some other improvised weapons. How about this guy? Two Marines got into it in their office one day. This is a true story, folks. I had pulled up on my motorcycle and I see one of the Marines standing outside and he's holding the broken handle of a coffee mug in his hand. Coffee cup's gone. He's just got the handle in his hand. He's all hyped up and he struck another Marine across the face with a coffee cup. So let me tell you something. It works. The guy had to go to the hospital and get some stitches. Pen. And it doesn't have to be a mean, scary, tactical pen. Just like in our article this morning that I want you to check out, United Kingdom Everyday Carry. Our London police officer, who's also American Warrior Society member, talks about why he carries a regular ballpoint pen. Not a tactical pen, not a scary pen, just a regular pen. So again, check that out. A set of keys. All right, this is Rich Brown's keys. And on this keychain, I've got my keys. I've got a light. Little Streamlight light. I've got a handcuff key, you never know. A bottle opener and a P38 can opener. Don't leave home without it, folks. I've also got this guy because believe it or not, you can carry corkscrews through onto an airplane. You never know when you might have to open a nice bottle of Chardonnay on that transatlantic flight. This is TSA legal. Also has a bottle opener right there. But guess what it can also do? I'm not going to put my hand in it. Use your imagination. So your keys can be an improvised weapon. A carabiner. If you have a non-locking carabiner can be a great SAP. Your watch. Look at this big beefy watch here. Now, if you remember my United Kingdom Everyday Carry, you probably recall that I said that I could use this to barter because it's a pretty expensive watch. It can do a lot of stuff, but it can also turn into a pretty mean SAP if it had to be. Your belt could be used, aluminum water bottle if you have one of those in your kit bag. Imagine having one mostly full or all the way full, sliding this through the top and whacking somebody with it. So again, you're only limited to your own creativity as to what you could use to use as a self-defense weapon. So enough said about that. So that's today's gadgets, and I'll go to questions before we talk about the training vault. Anybody got any questions or comments for me? Things that you use every day that could be an improvised weapon? We are authorized to carry batons here in Texas. Do you carry one? Donald, I would be interested to know that, and if so, what kind? Jocko says, I'm currently in a non-permissive environment, so no firearm, but luckily I'm carrying a tactical pen and kinetic karambit. Do you like the karambits, and if so, do you train with them, and who's the guy you follow on that? Robert said, hi Rich, 1401 from Kentucky. Doug Lightfoot, 2 ideas that I have done when flying. First, you can buy a large sharpened pencil at the gift store that are in the airport after you go through security. 2 pencils cost about $2 and can be potent as a stabbing device. Second, shot glasses can be a potential SAP. 2, when placed in a sock. Absolutely. I carry socks in my backpack when traveling. Absolutely. Oh, Georgia Lopez has joined us. Mike Varley, good morning, sir. Doug Lutfoot, another option. If you work in an office environment that doesn't allow actual weapons, what is keeping you from getting a nice sized hammer and a couple of screwdrivers to hang pictures with in your office, but just forgot to take them home? Absolutely right. So, and he's right. I mean, I remember I used to run the demo pits when I was an instructor. So I used to teach electrical, non-electrical firing systems and all sorts of demolitions. And we used to say, you're only limited by your creativity. So we would give the students like an ammo can, and there was some gravel over there and some other firing stuff, and say, you know, what can you make with this? And if you know what you're doing, or if you're creative enough, you can make an amazing claymore mine just out of an ammo can, some gravel, and a little bit of C4. So you're only limited to your own creativity. And as it, you know, Doug brings up a great point about the pencils. I'm going to tell you something. When I worked corrections, the inmates were allowed to have, I think, 4 pencils at any one time. And when they wanted to sharpen their pencils, they would come to the pod officer, and we had a sharpener, and they would sharpen their pencils. We'd take the sharpener back, and they'd go away. With this one inmate, I just left shift. This was second shift. This inmate comes up, tells the pod officer, and he sharpened my pencils. He sharpens all 4 of his pencils. He takes a strip of some sort of cloth, wraps it around all 4 of them. Now he's got 4 sharpened pencils in his hand, just like this, walks up to another gang member while the gang member's playing cards, pulls his head up and just starts stabbing away on his neck. And the guy almost bled to death. So, yeah, inmates are really good at improvised weapons, and there's no reason that we, the good guys and gals, can't be also. Anything else on improvised weapons? If not, let's talk about the training vault. You know, we talk about improvised weapons and we get excited about all the stuff that we can carry and we can do and the capabilities that we can have. But the number one capability you probably have that you're not thinking about is your own level of fitness. Your own level of fitness is what's going to turn the tide. I mean, for those of you that do jiu-jitsu, and I was at class last night, and my coach, after watching me do 2 5-minute rounds, said, Rich, you know, you're breathing. You're still not, I don't feel like you're breathing. You're holding your breath a lot. You're using a lot of muscle when you probably need to use technique. And he's absolutely right. So creating and maintaining a moderate or better level of fitness really should be priority number 1. Once you get your fitness where you need to be, then it's time to step into combatives. Then it's time to step into shooting. Then it's time to do all those things. If you're already doing shooting, you're already doing combatives, and your fitness sucks, then guess what, folks? I'm telling you, you need to improve that level of fitness at any age. Am I as fit now at 50 as I was at 30 or 25? Of course not. But for a 50-year-old man, I think my level of fitness is pretty doggone good because I work at it. Let's talk about this. In the training vault, it's where all the paid content is. Now, all the articles you can read for absolutely free. But if you want to step inside the training vault, you can have your first month free. But after that, we do charge a small fee for you to look at all the premium content that's in there. It costs us a lot to hire production crews to make this content. And we have to recoup the cost. And that's why we have a paid membership site. But we have a fitness module. This fitness module wasn't created by Mike and I. We actually got with Atomic Athlete and the guys down there in Austin, Texas, Jake Sines and all the guys down there, that they have in our mind, probably the most amazing fitness program. They currently run this thing called the Vanguard program with some special operations guys, and they've got the contract for that. So they really, really know what they're doing. And if you want to get an amazing program by Atomic Athlete, we have a 30-day program in there for you. And it every single day tells you what to do, when to recover. It's all lined out for you. I encourage you to take a look at that. It's the fitness module inside the training vault. And it's a step-by-step video accompanying program to tell you what to do to create and maintain that superior level of fitness. And before I jump off here, let's see if we got any comments. Matt says, much like our defense attorney will tell you, if you have a baseball bat in your car, at least have a ball and glove also. It makes the same with the hammer and picture frames and all that talk business. Love it. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Just like I was saying with SAPs, make sure you're carrying keys to this stuff because they do serve a dual purpose. I mean, Yeah, I really do use the lock when I go places. It really is a capability that I like to have. But, the intent is not to go armed. The intent is to carry a lock and be able to secure where I'm at or my things. If push comes to shove, I can use it for other things, like this coffee cup. The intent is to drink my delicious coffee. If attacked by zombies right now, I might use it to smash it over a zombie's head, okay? So that's all I have for you this morning. I really appreciate everybody coming out for me. We did not hit the 50, but that's okay. We're going to continue to work on that. Doug says, as a guardian, warrior, and protector, fitness is a requirement! Exclamation point. Doug is right. Doug is a monster and a true fitness beast at any age. And I think Doug is my age. So, and I'm humbled by what he's been able to accomplish in the fitness community. So, guys, thanks for coming out for Coffee with Rich. It's been an honor and a privilege to share my Friday morning with you. And hopefully I'll see you here next Friday for more Coffee with Rich. Like I said, I will probably be in Rhode Island, but I'll try to take my setup and give you a little bit of coffee and a little bit of advice. So until next time, remember, the fight is coming. Be ready.